Alright YouTube, so today's video we have something very special on the table. Like I said in my post yesterday, that we have gone ahead and actually pre-ordered this guy, the R6 Mark III. It's actually here. Thank you to B&H to get this thing out on time, and I just picked up a RF lens, which is the 85 1.8. It's nothing too fancy, but I just want to see how this balances without the grip actually on that, especially for a certain genre of photography that we'll talk about in this video. If you have not ordered one, I would say order one. If you have ordered one, great. Hopefully you get yours soon. So with that unboxing, I'm going to make it quick and then get into a couple of things that you should think about if you are planning to order. You actually get a physical manual still. Obviously USA warranty card comes in there. It actually is shipped like this inside. This camera is actually, I believe, it should be made in Japan, and we are going to validate that right here. Camera is made in Japan. Nothing against the other ones that make it everywhere else, but this is still made in Japan. You get a nice little strap. You get a battery that actually has a new kind of cover on it, apparently. You do have the new battery now, which actually is the same one that goes inside the R5 Mark II. So if you have this camera, try not to use the older batteries, especially if you're doing some crazy video stuff, because if it doesn't work or overheats, it's really on you, right? You still get an actual charger, Sony, Nikon. You don't give this with any of your stuff. So Canon still does that. It comes from Japan. All of the chargers come with it. The other big thing down here that they're doing is when you take off the top tray, you actually have inside it the actual camera marked with the actual serial number on it. And it's right here. This is very different than how they used to do it. This material is definitely, looks like it also can absorb moisture. So if there's any kind of moisture that gets into this box during shipping or during packaging, it will not damage the camera. It seems kind of heavy. I haven't even taken it out yet. But let's go ahead and put all this other stuff back in here, because, you know, the box is exciting, but it's not as exciting as the camera itself. I'm going to put this guy, move it out of the way. And then we're going to actually take out the R6 Mark III for the first time. And there it is. It actually is very similar in build quality to the R5 Mark II. Actually, it's a big difference from the Mark II version. This grip has changed, apparently, for sure. It's more like a DSLR type of grip that they've got on here. It's kind of nice. Dual card slot, CFast Express Type B, and then you have your standard SD card. Your flippy screen. You can rotate it any which way. This looks really tight compared to the R5 Mark II. Maybe they made some changes here. Huh, interesting. Anyway, we'll check it out in a second. And they actually mapped the MFN button up here. You can see like a blue sign on top of it, which means it also has the ability to map certain things to these buttons that the R5 Mark II doesn't have yet. Hopefully we get a firmware update on that. I'm pretty sure Canon is going to be pushed to do that. So with that, can I get my R5 Mark II? I am going to ask my assistant to actually go get it for me. and it should be in the other room, I think. And all right, so we go ahead and fire this guy up. R5 Mark II is mounted onto a camera. You can actually give it to me if you want with the camera. The other thing is I just put this battery in. When you first get these batteries, they're dead. They're dead for a reason. I won't tell you who I work for, but in the shipping and logistics world, a lot of batteries have been kind of doing their thing, especially doing transport in airplanes and things like that, which have become a major problem. So these batteries are fully depleted, so you do need to charge it before you can start using it. I don't have to worry about that because I can take this guy out right now, and then as soon as I get my R5 Mark II in my hand shortly, we will pop the battery in here. So let's go ahead and thank you. Yeah, so this is the R5 Mark II. Yeah, I actually like the grip on the R6 Mark III. It actually, this rubber feel is pretty good. This is the R5 Mark II. I have the cage on it, but regardless, at least I have a good battery in here. So I'm going to pop the battery right into here, and we should have power. There it is. Pick your language, English, set your password. It wants you to set a password. I don't know why, but it does. It's got that security thing in there now. So I'm going to set a password and re-enter your password. You can set yours to whatever you want. It needs to be 6 digits long. Once you set it, it's good to go. It's going to settings complete. So time, date, all of that, I'm going to leave alone. I'm just going to go to time zone and just move it to New York because I'm on the Eastern time zone. And that should be good for now. At least we can get the camera turned on. It wants you to pair it with the smartphone and all of that. And I really rather not do that right now. Okay, go to menu, go to back, hit OK. All right, next time, OK. Wow, this thing is bent out of shape. Here we go. All right, so we got the camera back on. It says when you shoot in RAW or C-RAW format, you can apply the effects afterwards. So it's actually asking you to confirm. So a lot of people think that when you do these, color profiles and things like that, RAW and C-RAW does not bake it into the RAW file, which means if you're shooting JPEG, it will do it. But if you're shooting RAW, you need to do that in Lightroom or somewhere else. It actually gives you that warning now. It does have the little color thing down here, which, you can actually change the menu style if you're so into wanting to see what it looks like here. You have your brightness, contrast, saturation, color tones, and you also have a monochrome setting right in here. This is a nice touch, actually. I wish they would put this in the R5 Mark II. If they've put it in the R5 Mark II, maybe it's turned off somehow and I need to figure out how to do it. If you know how to do it, let me know in the comments below because I really don't know. I haven't seen this. This is kind of new. Coming back into the actual menu of the camera, it looks very similar to the R5 II. Where's the pre-capture part? So there is something in the pre-capture here that you need to be aware of. You cannot customize pre-capture. On the R5 Mark II, you can actually tell it, half a second, 1 second, 2 seconds, whatever. You can't do that here. It is literally pre-programmed, and that's all you get, right? So if you want customization and flexibility like that, you got to go to the R5 Mark II and spend the extra $1,000 right now. That's what it is. We'll talk about a couple of other things as we go through this. But first impressions, this piece up here, this little dial, and what they have on the R5 Mark II are identical. So they really have done a great job compared to what it was before. So who is this camera for? Let's talk about it, right? I'm going to go ahead and actually shut it off for 1 second. It does cover the sensor. like all of the other ones. You put an RF lens on there, it's good to go. Pop it on, bam, it's on. It wants me to enter the password. Okay. Okay, give me 1 second, and it should pop back on. And it's, I actually hit reset password, and that was my fault, so I will very quickly set it up. It takes 1 second, literally, a second to do it. Okay, here you are. It's ready to go. The lens works, autofocus is moving, no issues there. EVF looks clean. Huh, interesting. I'm very curious to see something. Can I get another battery that's on the charger so I can get it in the R5 Mark II for a second? Because I want to see, there are some similarities to this. Now, one thing they did do different on the R6 Mark II is the Hachu cover has changed. They've gone back to the old style. It does not have the R5 Mark II type, which is completely sealed. So weather sealing, I don't know. I don't go out there and shoot it in, hailstorms. If you do, you need to figure out what to do. Maybe order one of these and stick it on. I actually like this one. It's perfectly fine. Let me throw this battery in here for a second, into the R5 Mark II. And I want to see just one thing with the EVF. Yeah, there is a significant difference in the EVF itself between the two cameras, for sure. Oh yeah, it's very noticeable immediately. The R5 Mark II has a much bigger EVF, not only just higher resolution, but a bigger EVF. And it's pretty apparent when you go between the two. Not to say that it's bad. So let's just talk about the different pieces that everyone has been, how do you say it, bitching on YouTube. This camera is $2,800. There's nothing on the market today, even from Sony, as at the time of recording this video, that can touch this camera for the money, for $28.99, what you're getting, or whatever the price is, $27.99. The one thing that Canon has done here is they really have separated out their 6 series and their 5 series. If you remember in the DSLR days, the 5 series was the ultimate king when it came to weddings, events, those kind of things. They rule the world. No one, there's no brand that can touch as many 5D bodies have been sold in the world. And they tried to bring that in with the R5. They kind of did, but with the R5 Mark II, it really truly has gone into its own league. So what has Canon really done now? They have taken the R6 Mark II and the R6 Mark III now with this 32 megapixel sensor. And now they're giving you exactly what was in the 5D Mark IV, which had the 32 megapixel sensor in it, 30 or 32. So they are not only marketing this for wildlife and those kind of folks, that shoot sports and wildlife, they're really going after the wedding and, the event photography market, as this camera is going to most likely become the choice of camera for people that are shooting with a 5D Mark IV today that want to get a equal counterpart on the R system. So if you want to do that and you have a 5D Mark IV and you want to try mirrorless, if you haven't, this would be the camera to do it. The R5 Mark II probably is not the camera you want, right? This is a 1-to-1. Now, a lot of people, like I mentioned a few minutes ago, have been bitching, right? Well, it doesn't have a stack sensor. Well, why do you need a stack sensor, right? Just because Sony makes stack sensors doesn't mean that every camera needs to have a stack sensor. The R5 Mark II has a stack sensor. It does. It's pretty damn fast. It's down to about 6 seconds, 6 milliseconds, sorry. This camera here, not being stacked, it's just front side illuminated, is about 13. So the sensor readout of the R5 Mark II is twice as fast as this camera, but then again, it's $1,000 more. Do you need it? It depends what you're doing. Now, if you're actually shooting, you know, for National Geographic and you're getting paid, and it doesn't matter out of the 40 frames per second that this guy does, if 2 of them where the bird, you know, wing goes like this, who cares? No one cares. You got 38 other shots. Knock yourself out, right? Save your money if you don't need it, is all I'm telling you. Don't get hung up on things that don't make any sense. The best part Canon did here, and this is one thing that's not knocking Nikon on, it's a missed opportunity, is getting rid of the mechanical shutter. This actually has a 12 frame per second mechanical shutter. So you can shoot at 12 frames per second in a mechanical shutter, which means your shutter is at the speed, the sensor readout speed on a mechanical shutter. To clear that mechanical shutter is about 3 to 4 seconds. But when you go in electronic mode, crazy things happen and it kind of slows down. So you have that available to you if that's what you want. And if 12 frames is enough. If you gotta have 40 frames per second, then you gotta have 40 frames per second, right? It's a trade-off. Now, the biggest argument that I keep seeing now is, oh wow, but you know, it's 12-bit. And what's your point? Sony's been doing that shit for the last 10 years. My A9 II, when I put it into a high-speed burst, is 12-bit. It's not 14. Did you beat up Sony for the last 10 years? Nope. Why are you so worried about it now? Why does it matter? Right? It shouldn't matter, right? To me, it matters because I know the difference between 12 and 14-bit. That's why I shoot my Sony A9 quite a bit in the mechanical shutter mode at 10 frames per second, sacrifice speed for our higher bit RAW file. If you're not shooting RAW, this conversation is mute. You're still at 8-bit, stuck 25 years ago, that's great. You know, it doesn't matter. But if you're shooting RAW and you truly have the ability to edit on a calibrated monitor inside Lightroom, Photoshop, wherever you are, and truly have a 14-bit or 16-bit workflow, then yes, it's a problem. But 95% of the people bullshitting on YouTube and on Facebook posting their pictures, they don't know a damn difference between 12 and 14-bit. They really don't. But the ones that really do, that really know how to edit and get the most out of the file, yeah, there is a massive difference between 12 and 14-bit. I totally agree. So for $2,800, if you're having that argument, I don't know, you need to find a new hobby. Go shoot. If you're shooting a wedding and if you're shooting an event with this camera, do you need 40 frames per second? Not really. Put in the mechanical shutter, shoot, knock yourself out, go make money. Stop worrying about it. All these YouTubers are just misleading you because what they want to do is try to sell you something. Now I'm going to tell you why you want an R5 Mark II and not this. But it's for a very special person. If you truly are shooting things like golf and all these things, and hey, you're getting paid to get that shot, you really need that, you know, fast readout of a stack sensor. Are stack sensors foolproof? No, they're not. A mechanical shutter is still faster than a stack sensor other than the Canon R1. That is the only camera that is actually faster readout than a mechanical shutter at 2.7 milliseconds. There's no other camera in the world that's faster. And if you want to go faster than that, like I've said before, Sony A9 III is the camera for you. You need to go global shutter, like what's inside this guy here. This has a global shutter. You can pan the hell out of it all you want. Nothing's gonna happen, no jello, nothing. Not an issue. So you have to pick, what are you gonna really do with this thing? A lot of people don't know. They keep on spending money and then they start using things that, that they want to use, but 80 to 90% of the camera is never used, and then they continuously complain. Oh, that camera company is giving me this, camera company is giving me that. Who cares? Sony's on the brink of announcing the A7 IV next week or wherever. Is it like they're going to steal like millions of people from Canon? No, that day is over. Sony party is finished, guys. Let's just be real. The game is over now. The big boys, the number 1 and the number 3, Nikon, is literally breathing down their neck. Sony better get their rear end together very fast on that A7 IV. If they F it up as a release, Canon and Nikon will not wait for them anymore. It's going to be over. So if it's another part spin camera, like they've always done, never anything new. At least this has a newer style body. They actually spent some money into manufacturing rather than sporting a 10-year-old body. From the original EOS R to where we are here, Canon has actually spent a lot of money building new bodies. The R5 Mark II, R6, they're different bodies. It's not the same body with a different firmware update and some different choices. And the same thing with Nikon. They're actually building separate different bodies because they're actual camera companies. They really get this, right? So the bigger shift has not happened, and I'm going to wrap this up in a second. The R6 Mark III, for the money, is one of the ultimate cameras right now under $3,000 that you can't even beat. If you're an aspiring filmmaker, this thing has open gate in it, which means you can shoot your video and you can get vertical slicing of that video right out of it. That's freaking genius, right? Now, if you're a stills photographer, it doesn't really matter, right? And it can do a lot of things, right? Obviously, if you want to do 4K 120, it's got a crop. This one doesn't have a crop, the R5 Mark II. So pick your poison, right, on what you want and what you need. So you can't sit there and say, I don't have choice. You got so much choice. You can customize the exact body that you need today and save yourself a lot of money if you're not going to use the features that the R5 Mark II has and you need it here, right? So decide what you need. Go out there and spend your money, but spend it wisely. If you don't have it, don't spend it, right? My big thing is the R6 Mark II good enough to get this R5 Mark II out of my hands? Either sell it or whatever. I don't know, right? I just got it. So that's what I plan to do. If it does a great job, either it's going to become a complimentary camera in the bag where my son, myself are going to shoot it for the events and things like that and keep it, and or going to wait for something else to come out from Canon and others, right? R7 Mark II is also around the corner. So with that, hopefully this actually helps you. By the way, the 45 1.2 lens is still not here. It comes out next week. So when they ship it, we will do a video of that and we'll stick it onto this. So it should look very similar to this, like the 85 here, very similar look from what I understand. So more to come on that, but again, super excited to see this. And the best part is this particular R6 Mark III is made in Japan. It is actually a Japanese-made camera. It is not something that's made in Thailand and all these other places. Nothing wrong with those places, but there's just something about the products that come out of Japan that have their fit and finish it's just different. So with that, that's my review and initial impression of the R6 Mark III. Leave your comments below if you've ordered one. If you haven't, I'll leave links. Order one, right, and use the links. We are working with Godox, so you'll start to see some Godox things showing up. They reached out based on the things that we're doing on the channel, and they're kind of excited about wanting to showcase some of their products and having us review them. So companies are reaching out, but there are a lot of companies that I say no to. I say yes to the companies that I truly believe in. Lighting is a very big key in photography. If you're completely relying on your camera to do it all without lighting, you're making a big mistake. You know, go out there, learn the lighting, and make the best out of the time that you have with your camera. So with that, like, subscribe, be nice to each other, go out there, create your magic, and I will talk to you in the next video. Thanks.